The creative tools arms race just changed. Not in the future, right now. Figma, Adobe, Canva, and Notion all added Claude. The AI is no longer a separate tab. It is inside the canvas where you work. The professionals who understand this will pull ahead fast. The ones who wait will wonder what happened. Most creatives think AI works like this. You stop your work, you open ChatGPT, you paste your content, you wait for the answer, you copy the output, you switch back, you reformat. That process kills every creative flow state you enter. Anthropic just made that entire workflow obsolete. Claude now runs inside the tools you already use. This happens through something called the Model Context Protocol. MCP is not a product, it is a standard. Think of it as the USB-C port for AI. Any tool can plug Claude directly in. Creative software adopted it faster than any other industry. Here is what this looks like in practice. You are in Figma designing a landing page. You highlight the Hero section and ask Claude for copy. Claude sees the layout. Claude writes to the available space. You never leave the canvas. No tab switching, no copy-paste, no reformatting. In Adobe Express, you are building a social campaign. You ask Claude for 10 headline variations. Claude reads your brand palette and your audience brief. Claude returns headlines that match tone and visual style simultaneously. In Canva, you select a slide and ask for layout feedback. Claude looks at your hierarchy and recommends specific changes with reasons. This is not autocomplete. This is a collaborator that understands your context. Designers are the biggest winners from this integration, but only the ones who move fast. Brief interpretation used to take 45 minutes. Claude reads the same brief in 90 seconds. Claude extracts goals, constraints, audience, and tone. Claude builds a structured direction document before you open a file. That used to be your first hour. Now it is 2 minutes. Iteration cycles that required a copywriter now happen inside Figma. The designer generates copy variations without leaving the design file. Each copy variation fits the layout in real time. Client presentation prep that consumed 3 hours now takes 30 minutes. Claude drafts the rationale. Claude anticipates the client objections. Claude suggests the alternatives to present before the first meeting. The designer focuses on the creative decisions. Every non-design task that surrounded the work is handled by Claude. Here is the number that should matter to every designer. Senior designers with Claude are taking 30% more projects without working more hours. Not because the tool is doing the design, because the operational weight around creativity dropped by 60%. The designers who learn this first will charge more, win more clients, build larger studios with smaller teams. The advantage compounds the earlier you start. Writers get something different from this integration. Writers get a thinking partner that runs at their speed. You are stuck on the angle for an article. Claude sees your outline and challenges the premise. Claude suggests 3 alternative angles with supporting arguments. You are building a brand voice guide inside Notion. Claude tests the described voice against your sample copy. Claude flags exactly where the tone drifts. Claude proposes corrections written in the voice itself. You are stuck on a transition between 2 sections. Claude shows you 3 ways to bridge those specific ideas, not generic transitions. Transitions built from what you actually wrote. Writers using Claude for structural review save 2 full drafts. They catch structural problems before spending time on sentences. The result is cleaner first drafts and sharper arguments from the start. Marketers get scale that was previously impossible for small teams. You need 50 ad variations for a product launch. Claude generates them in 8 minutes. You brief Claude once, product, audience, tone. Claude handles every permutation from that single brief. You need to localize a campaign for 7 markets. Claude handles the cultural nuance, not just the translation. A hard sell that works in the US sounds aggressive in Japan. Claude adjusts the approach without you specifying every cultural rule. You need a full competitive analysis by end of day. Claude reads the competitor landing pages and extracts the positioning. Claude builds the comparison table in 40 minutes. That analysis used to take a junior analyst 2 days. Marketing has always been about doing more with less. Claude raises the ceiling on how much more is actually possible. Here is the framework every creative professional needs right now. 3 shifts are happening at once. You need to understand all 3. Shift 1. From prompt engineering to context engineering. The first wave of AI users type prompts. Type a question, get an answer. That captures 20% of AI's value. The second wave builds context instead. They upload brand guidelines before asking for copy. They connect project history before asking for strategy. They feed style sheets before asking for design direction. When you engineer context, output quality jumps 40%. Not because the AI got smarter, because you gave it the information it actually needed. Shift 2. From separate tool to workflow layer. Opening a separate Claude window costs you context every time. Every context switch costs 2 minutes of focused thought. Embedded AI catches errors in context. Separate AI requires you to explain context every single time. This is not a preference. It is a structural advantage. Shift 3. From individual productivity to team leverage. One skilled professional with Claude embedded in their daily workflow does not just save their own time. They become a force multiplier for the people around them. The lead designer with Claude supports 3 junior designers simultaneously. The senior writer with Claude maintains voice across 10 contributors. The marketing lead runs agency-level output with a 2-person team. This changes compensation and team structure. It changes what being a senior creative professional actually means. Here is exactly what to do right now. Step 1. Pick one tool, not 5. 1. Pick where you spend 60% of your working time. Figma, Notion, Adobe, Canva, wherever you live professionally. Step 2. Install the Claude integration for that tool today. The setup takes under 20 minutes. Step 3. This week, do your existing work with Claude running alongside. Do not change your workflow yet. Just notice where the friction lives. Watch where you switch tabs. Watch where you rewrite the same brief. Watch where you are waiting for someone else's input. Write those friction moments down. Step 4. Eliminate one friction point, just one. Professionals who do this save 90 minutes in week 1, not because they radically changed their process, because they removed one small piece of constant friction. Step 5. Expand from there. Build the habit. Most creative professionals replace their old workflow within 60 days. Not because someone told them to, because the new workflow is simply faster. The creative tools arms race has started. Figma and Adobe are not adding Claude as a feature. They are rebuilding their products around AI-native workflows. The tools that move fastest attract the best professionals. The professionals who move fastest get the best outcomes. You now know what is shifting and why it matters. You know the 3 shifts. You know the 5 steps. The only question is whether you move first or whether you wait for someone else to take your clients.